We're always talking about the headline chasers over there at the Walt Disney Company and the fact that they will spend top dollar in order to have the number one film at the box office, sometimes spending $600 million so they can say they made $1 billion in revenue. That was the strategy with Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. While they didn't spend that much money, they also didn't bring home that much money either. And now a new report out of Forbes says that the Walt Disney Company only made $88,000 on Ant-Man 3. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. We got one more story. I think we can cover it pretty quick. We may not cover it for the usual amount of time here, but another great one from Caroline Reed over there at Forbes, how Marvel's latest Ant-Man movie lost millions in theaters but still made a profit. You won't believe how little money. It did make a profit. It did make a profit.
Enough to buy popcorn at the next movie.
Did it?
It did not. It did not.
Inflation, maybe not.
It did not.
The movie industry is famous for what is known as Hollywood accounting. Excellent definition of that in some of the lawsuits we've seen. In simple terms, this involves studios using accounting methods to obscure the budgets and profits of blockbuster movies for decades. It has been suggested that this is the driving force behind Tinseltown, but recent disclosures have shown that in some cases, it is actually nothing more than Hollywood legend. I'm going to point out, according to Hollywood accounting, if you've got points on Return of the Jedi, according to Fox, Return of the Jedi has never made a profit. Perhaps the best evidence of this is Disney's Marvel Studios movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. The superhero flick debuted in February last year to a lukewarm reception and only grossed $476 million, according to Box Office Mojo. Studios typically receive around 50% of the takings, meaning that Disney got around $238 million, which was $92 million less than net spending on making the movie. We recently revealed, and we've covered that here on That Park Place, the Valiant Renegade channel. Not sure if Pro's done that one yet. The cost of the movie isn't speculation or an estimate, but a fact which comes directly from Disney's filings. Does anyone want to explain how we get that?
Sure. Countries, and in this country, states, have regimes where if you come there and spend money that causes local employment, the state will rebate to you by tax some of the money you spend. In order to do that in England, you actually have to publicly disclose that money spent, as opposed to where it's pretty well hidden in America. So people are taking the numbers reported to the British tax authorities and saying, well, we know they spent that much. What they're not telling you is it's only on the things spent there to provide employment and goods and services sold there, which means the star salaries, the director salaries, the administrative costs, and everything that didn't happen there isn't part of the deal. So when people use those numbers alone to tell you how much a movie cost, they're probably understating it by 20-25% minimum. So everybody's glommed onto this, but it ain't necessarily so. Secondly, when they talk about usually the studio gets half, no, they do if the film runs out its full run as they hope it will. But the way the contracts with the theaters are written, the studio gets a majority of the money in the first couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. And then as the run extends, that ratio changes in favor of the theaters. So if the film is a drop dead, lose it quick, it never gets to those weeks when the theater gets more money.
And sometimes it's a hard ratio internationally, right? So like 25% from China, for example.
Well, China, anything with numbers should not be believed. But that's just the truth. Uh-huh. They don't have, even as we do, a nominal SEC to spank people for lying about stuff like that. So anyway.
If you scroll down there, Jonas, you can actually see a chart that kind of breaks down exactly what numbers Caroline Reed actually references here. You can kind of see, based on these filings, what financial figures were actually taking place here. Revenue from the studio, total revenue from the studio, miscellaneous income, all of that. And it's kind of funny because if you look at the production cost, how do you spend, by the way, $388 million on this film? Culture, how is that possible to spend this much when a lot of it was done on the volume? It wasn't even done with physical sets. It wasn't even done with physical production. Culture, how's this happen?
Money laundering. I mean, okay. Maybe I shouldn't say it exactly that way. I'll just say that there are interesting ways to spend money on people, places, and things. And oftentimes, in order to do things, you spend money in certain places to make certain people happy, or you have a situation where you have to do a make good for somebody, or a whole lot of other stuff that happens in productions these days. Especially
as
when
I said,
Yeah.
the whole reason they give these breaks is to get more people working in a place
Yeah.
where they're not.
Yeah.
And so they have to justify that.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
in some very careful accounting that has been done with real numbers in the States, in Europe, everywhere, there has never yet been a tax deal like this to build a movie, to build a stadium, to build a local park that has ever net paid the governing agency that's giving it more money than they're giving up by not taking the taxes.
Yeah,
Which is true.
Never. So it's all a political game. It's not a financial.
I agree. And
reality.
California is currently working on something similar. It doesn't mean that people don't take advantage of it.
No, Jonas, you keep saying that. It's already in California. What they just passed was a bill to triple the amount of money.
There you go.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That's a good clarification. So I just want to point out very quickly here, because we are about to wrap up, and we will be redirecting to the pro show here. Revenue from the studio, we obviously covered that. Miscellaneous income, who knows what that could be? Any number of things. Could be the taxes, cost of sales, administrative expenses, pre-tax loss, right here.
That's that
and
reimbursement
tax credit.
right there.
Yeah, of 58 million that they paid the UK, the citizens of the UK, not the UK government, because they stole that money. I'm sorry, they collected that money from the citizens of the UK. Forgive me for that little Freudian slip there. This does not include marketing of the film. They're saying that this film made $88,000, not accounting for the fact that they had to pay to put it in theaters and market it. So.
Yeah.
If
That
you
is-
just add up the least you can imagine for the star salaries, it's more than that.
yes. This is
Which are not
probably-
on the UK accounting at all, unless it's local hires of local actors for little roles.
And you could have paid 5 production assistants for 1 year for that amount.
Unless they were
that's
really
wild.
cute, in which case they get a little more.
That was a little indictment of how little they pay out there. Vash, what do you want to say?
You don't shell out $388 million to only make $88,000. I can assure you right there, marketing costs, everything like that, it's way more. So it's just stunning. Great reporting by Caroline Reed, but it's just so funny that even if you were to say that they made a profit, it wasn't much to begin with.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.